This is Speak with No Fear, the essential guide to public speaking. Learn strategies and useful tips on how you can present and speak in public with confidence. Written by Robert Gilmour. Read by Todd Studer. Introduction. Many people see public speaking as an art form. That is, they don't see any linear process for getting better at it. At the extreme, they may even believe that some people are endowed with the ability to do it while others aren't, and there's simply nothing they can do to change that. If you're one of those people, I have good news for you. You're half right and half wrong. It's true that public speaking is an art. In many situations, there will be no one right answer, no correct way to say things or to do things. However, you're also half wrong. As with any art, you can become better at it by learning the fundamentals, by taking art classes and practicing sketching, painting, and free drawing. And this is especially true for public speaking. In this guide, we are going to focus on this aspect of public speaking, the fact that you can get better, in fact, much better, if you are only willing to learn and practice the fundamentals. In the rest of this audiobook, we will direct you through the entire process. We will take you from the start, where you select a topic, to the actual scenarios you might encounter when you deliver the speech in a public setting. By the time you're finished, you should be ready to churn out speeches and deliver them in front of a crowd of any size. Chapter 1. How to pick the right topic. Working with restrictions. In some cases, you will have a great deal of leeway when it comes to topic selection. That is, you might be going into the speech with no set topic and few restrictions on the length and subject matter, so that you can do almost anything you want to. In other cases, you may be working with significant restrictions. For instance, if you're delivering a speech at a wedding as the best man, you will have both time restrictions and content restrictions. With this said, the fact that restrictions exist shouldn't worry you, but you should be careful to pin down the exact restrictions before you get started. Here's a list of some things you should consider that might place restrictions on your speech. The subject matter. Are you delivering a eulogy? Are you giving an academic presentation? Are you delivering a speech at a wedding? Or are you giving a presentation to your coworkers, clients, or boss about your area of expertise? All of these will place different restrictions on the content of your speech. Make sure you know exactly how this will restrict your presentation so that you can take this into the account in the writing stage. The approximate time length. In many situations, you will have a flexible time limit, but it is always good to know what a reasonable upper and lower bound would be for your speech. Again, when you're in the writing stage, it will help to know this in advance. The approximate frequency of interruptions. In many situations, when you deliver a speech, interruptions will not be permitted. But when they are permitted, such as in some academic presentations, it is a good idea to try to find out how frequent they typically are and approximately how much time they will consume, so you can adjust the target length of your speech accordingly. Of course, depending on your particular situation, there may be additional restrictions to take into account. Just make sure that you discuss the restrictions with whoever has scheduled your speech. Make sure that you know this before you proceed to the next steps. Narrowing down your topic. Once you have a complete set of restrictions to guide your speech, it is time to begin narrowing down your topic. Below, we'll consider some of the possible topics you could select for several different types of common speeches. The best man speech. Now, this may seem obvious to you. You're the best man, and it is your job to talk about the groom and to give some advice. Contrary to what you might believe, however, there are many different varieties of the best man speech that you might consider. For instance, if you're already married, you may focus on bestowing advice on the groom that comes from your own marriage. You might theme it around something like 10 things to look out for in a marriage. You can then detail each of the things you have found to be important. You can relate it to the personalities of the groom and the bride. Another possible take on this speech is to use the history of the groom as the topic. This will work especially well if you knew the groom longer than he knew the bride. You can talk about who the groom was before he met her, how he changed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?